Hello, wonderful people of this community. I proudly welcome you to this quick Microsoft Access database tutorial brought to you by Akos Datatex. My name is Akos Smiler. I'm your instructor in this tutorial. This video is going to be a continuation of our video creating advanced school fees and billing database in Microsoft Access, which we uploaded a year ago with a current view count of 8.1. So if you have watched this video, if you're already a member of this channel and have watched this video, you would have realized that in there what we did was we learned how to set up a robust Microsoft Access database that will be able to automate billing of school fees for us. So if you are someone that is looking forward to have a school management system set up either for your personal use or commercial use, then these videos are actually for you. So before watching this video, I recommend you watching the very first part of it, which is right in here, what I've actually highlighted in here. Okay, so without not much we do, guys, let us jump right into it. But before then, as we do always, if you have not subscribed to this channel, guys, do not deny yourself the opportunity to be notified anytime that we upload a video over here. Subscribe and be part of this amazing community so that we can make the best use of Microsoft Access all together. All right, let us jump right into it. So I'll go ahead to minimize this. Okay, so this is how this is. But before I show this, let us look at what we did previously. So previously, or in the previous video that I showed you in the YouTube dashboard, this is what we did. We managed to create a billing model which is able to bill students according to terms. So you set up a term in here, then once you set up a term, you're actually able to for instance, if I want to submit a bill for third term 2020, third term 2023, I just select that, then I go to submit current bill. But I don't want to do any further billings. Okay, once you have a bill submitted, we're also able to add a button that once clicked, it is able to, sorry, because here we have not billed students, so let me select this. Okay, so over here too, there's no billing. Let's select this guy. Okay, so if for once you select a term and then you click print bills, provided a bill has been submitted or students have been billed for that term, it will go along to show you all the bill records of the student, which you are actually able to print. Also, against every bill, you are able to once let us open this form. Also, another thing that we did, which was very much important, was the student profile. So here on the student profile, we are also able to show the outstanding balance of a child. The outstanding balance of a child, which was actually calculated as the difference between the total bill or the total debt and then also the total credit. But you could see that in that video we did not talked about, or we did not do anything on the crediting. So in this second part of it, we are going to look at having billed students. How do we collect the school fees, and how do we collect the school fees? Additionally, how do we then, after collecting school fees, how do we issue receipt with barcodes, and on top of it also shows the balance? So that is what we are actually going to accomplish right in this video. All right, let's see how, to motivate us, I would like to show you guys how this is expected to function at the end of the day. So let us get right into my already established commercial school management software that we have. So for instance, if I select a student, this current student has a bill of 860. So let's go ahead to collect the school fees. If I select this, let's say for instance she comes to pay 500. Once I enter this 500 Ghana cedis, I can hit refresh and you can see that the balance has automatically been updated for me. So once I go ahead to click receipts, let's see. So once I go ahead to click receipt, Microsoft Access or my database is able to issue me this beautiful receipt, which I can print and hand over to the student. On top of that, we also have a barcode that validates the authenticity of the receipt that comes out of our database. And I'm going to show you how to come by this in just some few, within just some few steps. Okay, guys, let us get things started. Okay, so I will keep this at this side. Now I will toggle to the previous database, which is so this, where did I get this database? It is, if you want to get this database, kindly go to my playlist, creating advanced, or navigate to this video, creating advanced school fees and billing database in Microsoft Access. Once you get to the description of this video, so let me show you that right away. I'll go ahead to pause this, and then once we come into the description, you can see that we have a link. We have a link that you can follow to download the project, so that you can also be at the same pass with that. Okay, having said this, I am at liberty to now close this. All right, so now let us first, before we begin, let us first explore the students table that we created. So this is a student table that we already set up in that previous video, and then also, more importantly, or a table that we'll be working with particularly in this video, is the school fees table. So in the school fees table, we have the transaction ID, the student's name, then we also have tuition. These are the fees categories that anytime that the bill is submitted, values are able to populate these fields automatically. Then we also have our total bill, then we have paid amount. So you could see that paid amount has not been dealt with. So we are now going to build the fees collecting model, which will print receipt and show balance. We are now going to do the same thing using the table, and then particularly on the paid amount, because this paid amount field is going to play a very critical role in this video. Okay, guys. So now we also, one other query that we also were able to also create the Qri Balance View. So this query also shows us for each student the sum of the total bill and the sum of the amount that have been paid, and then the balance. Okay, and then the balance. So for instance, if I go, so now what you want to accomplish is that anytime that a student pays fees, it comes into this transaction table as paid amount, and the paid amount should now be able to deduct from the sum of total bill, and then we have a balance. Okay, so now let us begin by first creating a query. So we go to this place, we create a query. Now we say create query design is what we are going to use. Okay, so we are going to create a query. So you drag this table into the design grid. Another thing that you could have done was to simply double click this table, and it will come in here. If you also want to, this video is not specifically meant for queries, so I will not be exploring the other options in here. Okay, so now what do we do? I'll go ahead to add transaction. Okay, for the meantime, let's add the students. Then I'll also go ahead to add what we call the paid amount, transaction time, transaction date. So now I'll go ahead to run this query. Okay, guys, so now for the meantime, let us save this query. So Control S to save the query, and I'll call it Qri payments. Okay, so Qri payments. Okay, now now that we have created this basic query, we will come to it again. Let us go ahead to, because when a child comes to pay fees, just as I have in my system here, when a child comes to pay fees, we are able to assign, we are able to tell the payment method, we are able to assign the payment or choose a payment method. Also, we are able to choose the category of the fees that the child is actually coming to pay. So we do similar thing in here. All right, so first we create a table. So let us go to table design. Now I will say fee category. Okay, I will leave it as short test, and I will make it a primary key. Now Qri, let's say TBL fee categories. Okay, so we can now view this. Now we can enter some couple of categories here. So maybe we can say tuition, we can say examination, we can say PTA, we can say sport, we can say sports, fee, etc. So these are the categories that for the meantime we'll be tracking. Let's go ahead to also set up a payment method field. Okay, so with the payment method field, you can choose to create a table just to make your database so nice. So we can say payment method. Okay, ideally we're not supposed to leave out names in here, so let us omit the names, but then we can set a caption to say payment method. Okay, so now guys, we can make this a primary key. So this is just a table with only one field and at the same time a primary key. So we say payment methods. Okay, all right. So before deploying your database to your end users, you should be able to create up forms that they will be using to, or they can use to populate these tables. So for the meantime, payment method, we say cash. We have mobile money. Let's say we have Zelle. We have paper, etc. Okay, so now let us add the most popular payment method. We have the bank. Okay, so having done this, now we can save and then we exit. All right, so next is to link these newly created tables to the school fees table. So we go to design view. Now we say method. So method, I will make it a lookup. So now there are two ways of getting values in a lookup field. So we are going to get the values from another table or query. So we proceed. Okay, right in here, so payment method. So we have payment method here. We go to next. Okay, so we sort by payment method in itself. Now we go to next. Okay, so here there is no need for us to enable data integrity, so we just click finish. But then also, if by mistake you choose to enable data integrity, it is not going to also affect your database in any means. You just have to ensure that you always restrict delete. If you cascade delete, then you're going to be in a big problem, because anytime that you delete a payment method, you might lose all records associated with it. So anytime that by mistake, you probably, if you want to explore that, but then I'll be making a video to explain these two lookup options. But for the meantime, in this video, to accomplish this purpose, just restrict delete if you want, or you can just choose to disable data integrity. Thank you. Okay, now the next thing is also the fee type. So we say fee type. Okay, so fee type. Now let me go ahead to set a caption. So I'll say fee type. Okay, so this should also be a lookup. Now the same process. Now where is our, so we go to this place, fee type comes in here. Similarly, we sort it by categories. We go to next. Now we restrict our delete. Yes. All right, so Control S to save, and now we can actually exit. All right, so having done this, we go to Qri payments again. Now we go to the design view of it. Okay, so we bring these two guys. All right, so now we are able to choose. Great. All right, guys, we are just a step away, we are just a step away from the project. So now, what do we do next? So we are going to create a very basic form. So we go to create. Now we come in here, blank form. Let us right click right in the design view. So we come in here. Okay. All right. So I will press Ctrl S to save. Then I will say FRM fee collection. Yes, FRM fee collection. So now what I will do here is I will double click here to activate property sheet. Now what is a record source? So the record source is simply where this form is going to, because forms are created to establish a connection to tables or queries. So this form, where should it get its values or data from? So we say record source, it has to be a query. And which query do we want to probably use for this? That is a query we created just here, which is a QROI payment. So we just activate that as well. Now we can add existing fields. So what fields do you want to add? For the meantime, I will choose to add these two fields, though the student name will not primarily be of importance. Then I will also add transaction, date and time. Okay, now we add payment method. Okay, now payment amount. Now we add payment grade. Okay, so now here what we'll do is that we can actually redesign this control. So quickly right click, we align to the left. Now let us stretch forward this guy. We do the same thing here, align to the left. Now size to the widest here. Okay, so now what I can do here is that I can actually resize these two guys. Okay, well, for transaction ID, student name, let me leave them as they are. I want dates to come first. Okay, all right. Then now payment method. So what I want to do is to expand the size a bit. So size to the tallest, align to the top. Yeah. So let me select everything. Now size to the tallest. This video looks a bit advanced, so if you are somebody, if you're now making entry into Microsoft Access development, if you are a beginner, I also have videos in my playlist that teaches how to design forms. Yeah, so you can watch that before probably coming to watch this also. Okay, so now that we have this, we have transaction date. So transaction date, let me issue. So we can simply keep it at dates. We can simply keep this guy at time. Okay, so let us select everything here, formats. Now let's select 12 and then we choose color here. Okay, now it's always a good thing to preview your form to see how it looks like before continuing. So we right click here, we go to form view. Okay, so this is how our form is actually looking like. Now design view again. So here we'll say amount, method, fee type. Okay, so what I will do here is I will select and then I will keep the size at 14. Let me center align also. Similarly, the same thing here. Okay, now here we are going to say transaction ID, of course, that is very relevant. Then students, you say here students. Okay, students. Now I would like to keep shape outline for this transparent, but then the color here I will actually keep them at let's use probably red is fine. Yes, so we can keep this at red and we preview. All right, next thing, we can also center align this. We can also center align this. Yes, so let us preview to see how it looks like. Okay, so this is how now it is actually looking like. The next thing we can do is to make this form a pop-up form. So we come to other pop-up, we set it to yes. So let's see how pop-up forms actually look like, or the effect of this. So you see now it appears like a little cute window like this. Okay, so we come in here, format. The next thing I want us to do is to disable this record selector. It is of no importance. So we come to record selected, we set it to no. Now once we come in here, we have this. The next thing I want us to do is to also disable this navigation button. So we come in here, navigation button, we set it to no. Now we save it, we can preview the form. Okay, great. So now where is this coming from? This is coming from because this form is actually, it does not have enough content to allow scrolling, but then scroll bars have also been set to show. So we simply go to scroll bars, we set it to 9. Then Now the next thing is transaction ID. We should also disable that. Then we lock it yes. So you set enable to no, locked you set it to yes. Now let us preview. Great. So you can see that now transaction ID you cannot edit it, but then student name is what we have right in here. Yeah, so this is what we have actually accomplished, guys. All right, so then the next thing that we need to do is to add some couple of buttons to this form. Okay, so let's see the kind of buttons that we can actually add. All right, so I will come in here, then I will actually add a button. This button is going to do new or add a new record. So we say add new records. So here I will say new payments. Okay, great. Now let us add another button. So new payment. Now this button is going to be refresh. So refresh. Then I will call it save payment. Okay, so let us add another one called delete. So we go to record, delete, delete. So delete, yeah. All right, so delete payment, finish. Now we can select the whole of this, align to the left. Now the size to the widest, yeah. Okay. So now the next thing that we can do is to choose a distinct style just to improve the look of these buttons. So we go to quick styles. Now quick styles, we can actually yeah, let's select this guy. The color might look a bit weird, but then feel free, because I will be attaching these projects in, so check in the video description to know these projects, and feel free to modify it. Okay, so we go to this. All right, now let us save this and look at how this guy is actually looking. All right, so guys, now this is where we have got to. So for instance, Cynthia ASL, let me select new payments. So what is the amount? Let's say it's 120. Payment method, let's say it's bank, and then fee type, let's say it's tuition. Now once I click save payments, you can see that the record has been saved. So when you refresh, now it has been added right in here. It has been added right in here. Okay, so we are accomplishing our purpose gradually, guys. All right, so now what is the next thing that we need to do? Because we have not finished, so now we need to choose the next thing. We need to continue. Okay, so the next thing to do, we go to students info. We are going to make a duplicate of this, so we go to design view of this. We select copy, Ctrl V. Okay, so for Ctrl V here, now what we do is that we say FRM profile payments. Okay, good. FRM profile payments. So now right in here, we are going to delete everything here. We don't need this. We delete this. Now we also delete this guy. Okay, but then for balance, we can choose to maintain our balance. Yes. All right, so now you can see the reason why this step is very important is that you could see that although we have actually created our payment for fee collection from here, but anytime you submit a bill, it does not go in the name of any student. So for instance, when you look at these school fees that we submitted, you can see it has not been assigned to any student. So it means that this is not going to be an effectual one to be used in a calculation. Yes. So now the next step is going to ensure that anytime we submit a bill, it goes in the name of a student so that it can also take effect over here. So for instance, now when I refresh this, you can see that still sum of paid amount is not for all of them. All right, so to accomplish this, it is easy, guys. So now let us come to fee collection. I'll click and drag it here. Now delete this guy. So let me add it here. I'll right click this special effect. Let me choose sync. Yeah. Then now we can also keep this one at the bottom here. Okay, so now let us save this guy and view. Great. So now guys, before this we have to make sure that this subform is probably properly linked to the parent form here. Okay, so we highlight it, property sheet, link master form. Let us click here. So now we are going to do a linking. So we are going to link student name. Now over here too, we link it to student name. Now we click OK. Great. So once we view this form, now here, if you submit a payment, you can see now it is going right in the name of the currently selected student. So for instance, if I choose my date, and now the value you entered isn't right for this. So for example, you might have entered a test in a field or number and field size. Okay, so yeah, let me correct that. So simply hit the escape key to make sure that the right date is entered in here. All right, so let me say this guy is paying 120 and is paying for bank with bank, and then it's tuition. We save. Okay, so now once we save, you can see that the balance has been updated, and when we come to this place, you can see that it has also been updated for us. Let us check the query to see. When I refresh the query, total is 1,30120. Now he paid 120 and the balance is 1,181. Okay, 1,181 for Cynthia Acel. Okay, now why is it not showing here correctly? Let us correct that before we can proceed to do receipts. So here you can see that it is also showing it according to student code and student code. So let us go right in here and modify it to show according to student name and student name. Yes. So once we come in here, and now you can see that Cynthia Acel, the right balance is showing for us here. Guys, I sincerely apologize. I might be moving a bit faster, so kindly forgive me. If in case you have any other questions, you can probably send me an email for a follow-up. Yeah, but I think the pace is a bit manageable. Okay, so now let us add another option that can help us to navigate to other students to do payment. So we go to design view. Now I'm going to add a search bar. So let us add a combo box. Yeah, so combo box is one of the easiest objects that we can add in Microsoft Access to do a search for us. So we select the third option, find a record on my form based on the value I selected in my combo box. So I want my combo box to search by student name. Next. So I will say search right here. Great. So now let us expand this guy. Let us keep it at 14 and the color should be this. And now okay, all right, now here too the same thing we do. All right, now let me set the color. Great guys, we are making a very good progress. Okay, so here too, now once I come in here, my student come Charles Donko, for instance, new payment. Now my date, let's say is this date. So time comes automatically. Method, let's say is cash. So how much is he paying? So he's owing, let's say he's paying 250. Payment type is tuition. Now we submit the payments, and once we refresh, we can see that the balance has now reduced to so let's say Charles Acel 250, 1,950. But then why is the balance still showing here? But then let's see, if we close the form, and we open it again, let us go to Charles Donko. You can see now the update comes for us automatically. It gives us the update. What is the reason why? What can we do to resolve this issue? If you know the answer, I know many of you will know the answer, or it's a very simple thing that we need to do. If you know the answer, kindly feel free to put it in the comment box right there. But then we just need to add a refresh. So here we come right here, we add a button here called refresh. So we say let's call it, I will call it sync data. Yeah, so sync data form, let me make it 14. Now I'll go to build event code. Let's add a very simple VBA do cmd.refresh record. Alright, good. So now we can close this. Alright. So now anytime that we add, for instance, let's select Ajua Mary, new payments. So today, let's say she's paying 600. So we expect to have a balance of 900. Cash, tuition. Once we sync the data, you can see now it is 900 that she's owing. And when you come here, you can see that the update is also coming to you right in here in the queries, and the data is automatically being transacted into the tables that we have right here. Now, before we move or go ahead to create the receipt, guys, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the little bell notification icon so that you won't miss any of our videos. Thank you. Now the next thing I want to do is, anytime that we click new, we will have to enter date and time. Let us go ahead to instruct Access to automatically pick it up from this system tree, which is quite necessary. So transaction date, we select it. Now default value, you type in equal to date. So equal to date is a function which will output the current date of the system. We do the same thing for time. Guess what is going to be equal to time? The same thing here. Okay. So now once we go to form and we click new payment, we see that dates, sorry, my keyboard today, dates and time comes automatically, cash, and then now tuition, and now you can synchronize. All right, guys, so now our billing form is working. Our billing form is working like magic. Okay, the next thing is for us to add a receipt. So let us create a receipt. All right, to create the receipt, I'm also going to copy what we have in here so that we can easily build up from there. So guys, let us copy, Control V to paste. Now I will say fee payment rec. Okay, fee payment rec here, design view. Okay, so I don't need all this information, so I'll go ahead to remove them. Now also we don't need this, and let us put these guys here rather. Okay, now the next thing I will do is to double click here. The caption, I will say receipt. This caption is official receipt. Now where would this caption show? So the caption is what shows over here anytime you open a report. Okay, so the record source, QRI student bills main, no, the record source should be QRY, where is that, payment, great. So here we don't have student code and we don't need that, so we simply come in here. So we add our records, so we add transaction ID, paid amounts, transaction time, transaction date, payment method, and fee type. We bring all of these here. Okay, so here let me copy this guy. So now I will say transaction information. Okay, so what we do here is we can expand this. So we are creating our receipt now. Size here we set it to widest. Now transaction ID, amount, time, date. Okay, so here let us add a colon, 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 and then we add a colon here. All right, so let me expand these guys. So size here to the tallest, and now we can separate them. Okay, so I can select all these. Now we set the size to 14, which is quite okay for us. And yeah, but then the size should be dependent on the size of your receipt. So here I assume that I'm just going to print it arbitrarily on A4, but then you actually have to take into consideration the paper size of your users before print. At the end of the day, it is very important for us to be economical so that we wouldn't end up printing small information on large paper outputs. Yeah, but for this tutorial I'm arbitrarily just setting it to 14 just for it to actually look good out there. Okay, so for now let me set these guys. Okay, so for instance, once we view here, we can see that our payment information are neatly aligned. So the next thing that I want us to do is to keep these guys so that we can have some kind of a tabular output. Okay, now their alignment should be center aligned. Then we should also bold this guy. Then we can keep them close to this. Now the next thing is we select the whole of this shape outline, choose this. Let's see how beautiful it's gonna look. Great. So now this is what we've managed to accomplish. The next thing is that the student name, I don't think is a good idea. So let us outline should be now. And then now, great. So this is what now we have. Okay, so the next thing that we will have to do is to also add the balance, because we should be able to see the balance. Okay, so the next thing is the balance. All right, still let me keep these guys. I think this guy can come here, this can also come here. Great. Okay, so now let us deal with the balance. So let us deal with the balance. All right, so remember that already in the billing, the main billing form, in the bill form that we had for the students, not here. So here we had a balance showing here. So that makes it quite easy. So what we do is that this balance form that we have here, we are going to click and drag it onto the report. Great. And then once we do that, we just position it nicely. So let me expand this guy. Okay. All right, guys. So now I feel like we can go ahead to remove this. Yeah. So here, outline, let me set it to transparent. Now make sure that the link master and the link chart field is set rightly so that it can show the balance of the selected student. So Microsoft Access has automatically brought out the needed fields or the necessary fields to be used in the linkage. So we select that. Okay, so now let's see how it looks. Alright, so guys, we are there. Cynthia Esau is owing 1,161. The same thing we have for Desmond Akofo, who is also owing 6,000. Right here, who is also owing 6,000. Alright, so then another thing that we need to do is that you can see that the form is showing all kinds of information, even for people that have not made payments. So to do that, we are going to close all these. Now let us get to QRI payment. So we are going to filter this form to only show us payment records. So we add a filter here. So here criteria, you set it to not now. So this not now is an SQL it's not equal to 0. Yeah, so now you can see that we have it set to not equal to 0 here now. All right, so this time if you go to view your receipt, it is only going to show you receipt for people that have made payments, as you can see here. Yeah. All right, so now The next thing that we are going to do before we add the barcode finally is now having taken, let us remove what we have here. Okay, so now after collecting school fees, we should be able to print a receipt. Okay, so what we do here, we can do that right in the fee collection form here. Okay, so we are going to add prints. Okay, so here we are going to say, let me call it print. Print. All right, so we have print here. Format. We set it to, let's use this. Then color should be set to 14. Now picture, let's add a picture called print. Yeah. Now you can see that the picture isn't showing, so we say to the right. Good. Okay, so we are going to automate this or add a macro that will open this report for us. So let me go ahead to copy the name. Okay, so we say build event macro open reports. This is the report name equal to transaction ID and transaction ID. Great. So here, let me do this. All right. So this macro, if this does not work, we'll probably come back to update it, but then let's hope that it works for us. Okay guys, it does the magic here. Okay, so now once we go to our FR payment profile, for instance, after entering a payment, you click print and then you have a very beautiful receipt in here. You have a receipt in here. For instance, Charles Donko, that we just did a payment, you click print and then you have a very beautiful receipt which has the balance also attached here. Sorry guys. Okay guys, so now it is left with the final thing for us to do, which is adding a barcode. But first of all, we need to set right the information that the barcode is going to store. So let us go to QR payments. I want us to create a robust serial to authenticate our payments. So go to design view. Now right click in the new column build. So we're going to add, we say serial. So it says serial transaction ID, and I wanted to store the transaction dates and the transaction time. Yes, so let us run this. Okay, so we have our, this is our serial, and this serial is going to be unique because the transaction IDs are unique. Okay, so having done this, to be able to have a barcode on your receipt, guys, there is one thing that you need to do. You need to make sure that you install this ID automation code 39. But then right in the description, you're going to have access to that. If you also want to download it yourself, then you go to Google, then you type font ID automation 12. Then once it comes, you go to free code 39. Download now. So once you have it downloaded, or once you download it, you open it. So once you open it, you install any of these fonts. You double click to install. So once you double click, now you see the option to install here, and this gives you access to the barcode. All right, I have already installed it, so let's go ahead to use it. All right, so quickly we go to our receipts. All right, so guys, what we do here is now we add a text box. So this text box here, let me keep it so cute. Now the font size is going to be set to, let's say, 16, and then what is it going to store? It is going to store our serial. Yes, center align. Now the font. So the font should be the barcode that we just installed, which basically comes in here as a font. Here we've got him, we add him right here, and now we can save. So the moment you save this receipt, your receipt comes with a barcode, which to me it actually gives it some kind of a new impression. So for instance, anytime that I print a receipt, I have a barcode on the receipt as well. Alright guys, it has been such a long video. If you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe so that anytime that we upload these kinds of helpful videos like this, you will be notified to watch. Thank you so much. Whatever you think of this video, kindly, if there is something else that you probably had like me to do, do not hesitate to drop it right in the comment box. Thank you so much. Enjoy the next videos coming up. Bye bye.